For instance, like designing websites or kind of like coding websites, the term might sound a little bit scary and people might think, oh, I don't have that, degree to be able to do that. Like if there's different types of careers online, usually there's different avenues or different cheaper courses you could take to learn those skills to be able to do it. If there is something that someone's interested in doing online and it might seem scary, just do a little bit more research, and usually there's different avenues you could take to be able to do it.
You're listening to Ecomonics, a Debutify podcast, your resource for one-of-a-kind insights into the world of e-commerce and business in the modern age. This is Joseph. I'll be presenting a wealth of industry knowledge from interviews with successful business people and our own state-of-the-art research. Your time is valuable, so let's go. Ashlie Tess, it is good to have you here on Ecomonics. How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I'm really happy to have you here today. There's a lot of stuff that I've learned about you in my own personal degree, which I'm excited to get to. I'm also excited to learn that I believe this is the first time that you've done a podcast interview. Am I right?
Yes, this is my first one, so pretty excited.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's great to introduce you to the podcasting space. It's a fun thing for people to do. You shoot the breeze for an hour, learn from one another, and add to the nexus of information, which I've had the distinct honor of collecting for the last year, almost a year, getting pretty close. So, opening question: if asterisk, you get more into the interview space, you'll be asked this a lot, but this will be the first. Tell us what you do and tell us what you're up to these days.
So right now I'm currently working from home. That is all about my YouTube channel. I also teach English online. So I started my career, I guess, as being a classroom elementary teacher. And I just wasn't happy in that career space. I was looking for more flexibility, not being confined to, traveling during winter break, summer break. So I taught in the classroom for 5 years, and I started looking into more online type things where I could still work and travel. So I did online teaching I taught fourth grade for 2 years virtually. And then right now I'm teaching English online. There's a lot more flexibility with like time commitment. So that's really nice. So I have more time to do more online things besides teaching. So it's been really nice with doing like online work or, business type things, YouTube stuff. So that is how I ended up finding my path into working online. I was trying to get out of my teaching position type in the classroom.
Okay, so here's a question. I didn't have this on the agenda or anything, but as you know, I've other than like I've instructed people on podcasting once in a while, so I've done a couple of lectures, but I'm by no means a teacher. But when instructing, say like grade 4. From my only perspective is being grade 4, and my first 10 years are kind of a blur. So when instructing them, were there really significant key differences between, say, like a grade 4, grade 5, grade 3, grade 4, or I don't know. I mean, there's a lot in common, I imagine, but I guess are things more starkly contrasted when you're taking the perspective of the educator?
Are we asking like the difference in like what they would know between like a third, fourth, and fifth grader, and like as a teacher, how you would teach each grade level? Is that what we're asking?
Yeah, well, that's a good point about the knowledge base. I guess I would modify that around the lines of like what method of teaching maybe works with them better. Like if it starts to be more at a certain point, it becomes more physical, more hands-on, maybe more experimentation. Or like even if tests changed, maybe at some point multiple choice is now an actual viable path rather than them just like picking at random, which, let's face it, nobody ever stops doing that.
I guess I would say like obviously the younger they are, you need more like support and visuals to help them. Obviously more hands-on is really helpful. Even the older kids, even adults, we need hands-on learning. But I guess as kids get older, they're expected to do more. So there's expected more of an output. Um, that's why as we get older, we're expected to write longer essays, add more details, things like that. So I guess the output would be more expected as you get older, but you kind of still teach the same way, but the content would be more rigorous versus like a younger student. Um, right now, I would say there is a bigger difference. I teach children in China right now, so versus American students. So I would say there's a bigger contrast in seeing the ability level between like an American student versus a Chinese student. So that's kind of interesting too.
I can't help but to ask, like,
Yeah.
what you noticed differently about a body of Chinese students versus a body of U.S.
Yeah.
students.
I mean, so they start learning at a very, very young age. My youngest students are 3 years old. It's just crazy. And they already can speak full sentences at 3 years old. I have one class of two 4 year olds that are reading at a first grade level and can have full conversations using large vocabulary. And then you're thinking about, kids here in America, and you're like, wow, they could barely put a sentence together. So it's just so crazy seeing the comparison.
That actually that's kind of mind blowing. Like I vaguely
Yeah.
I mean I don't remember every day of what it was like to be a youngster, but I do
Mhm.
remember my kindergarten teacher. She would come to our homes to introduce herself first, just so that we were more comfortable with her when we get to school. And so I was starting at the age of 3. I was a little bit young for my group, so like I would turn 4. Everybody else was already like halfway between 4. Not a big deal or anything, but I mean, my memory of that is just like, I like Sonic too, and that's pretty
Right.
much all I had going into school. So it's fascinating to hear just how not only like how quickly a culture will start, but knowing that it's even possible and doable. Just change what a culture is expecting, or knows what their kids are capable of.
Yeah. I mean, and they're using large like science vocabulary, academic vocabulary, not just like, simple conversational language. Like they're using pretty high words. So it's kind of interesting. It makes us here look like, wow, we need to do more, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, I assure you, I'm here in Canada, and I don't think
Oh, okay.
I don't think we're doing like tremendously bad or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, I learned a little bit watching the Red Green Show opening up. Other than that, I don't think we've had any major advantages over the States. But that's fascinating. I really didn't know that. I'm glad I asked. Okay, so getting back to your backstory. So I can tell, because I do check out people's Instagram, and even just from what the story that you're telling me is that travel is a significant a part of what appeals to you. You obviously like to do it quite a bit, and so that's a major component in being able to have the flexibility that you're looking after. So what I want to hear about is, as you're transitioning to the point where now you're able to convey this information on your YouTube channel, is was there a difference between the kind of remote working you were doing that was more, and forgive me, this is kind of like a convoluted question, but so the remote work that was more rooted in the establishment, or more of like an extension of the institutions that you were working with, versus say something that starts digitally and is basically that's where the foundation is for it. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of people transition using their current jobs and transitioning into working online. I guess it was somewhat similar because my first online job was with a online charter school. So it was still working with American kids. I live in Las Vegas, so um, I taught for students here in Nevada. So it was an online charter school for Nevada. So that's how I transitioned to working online. So I worked for them for 2 years, and then I moved into teaching English online. So that's how I know a lot of people start. So if they ask their employer, is it possible to work from home? I know I've heard um, a lot of people, they kind of like talk to their bosses and they say, oh, I might leave if it's not possible to work from home. And like they'll be like, oh, let's do a trial period. So I know that works for a lot of people trying to transition, but um, I know some people, they might, not be able to work from home with their current job. So there are resources where you can find and try to see what skills that you have uh, to look for those online jobs.
Yeah, because I remember, one of my friends I bring up on the show once in a while. He was in IT, and once the pandemic hit and everything was going into lockdown, what it had done is it had accelerated the company's willingness to allow them to work remotely. The functionality was always there; they just didn't have the leverage for it. Whereas now, it was much easier to leverage under threat of death. So it was much easier for them to say, yeah, we're gonna work from home, and we're gonna stay safe. But I would also say that I don't think there was as much really lost, because there was, I mean, you get some interaction but for the most part, most of what they do was on the computer anyways.
Mhm.
So comparing that to your experience, um, I imagine that quite a bit is lost in the lack of the in-person school space versus what's done online. So rather than ask you the obvious question, I think a much more interesting question is, what do you do to make up for that?
I mean, teaching online versus teaching in person is definitely a big transition. I know, especially teachers this year, they had to adapt really quickly and not much support with that. But I've been teaching online for 3 years prior to the pandemic. So um, I felt more comfortable, obviously, when there was a bigger need for it. But I know there wasn't much time to prepare. But a lot of it's just practice, and a lot of it is like seeing what resources are available online to help support anyone in that transition. Um, watching other people was really helpful. Going on YouTube, looking for support. There's always things to help. I hope I answered that right.
Yeah, it's to say that there's work to be done, but I think what you're saying as well is about there. It's not like everybody had to start from scratch right away.
Yeah.
Not you didn't have to, so there is some degree of like, okay, some people were ahead of the game, so here's the people that we can take some of the knowledge from and adapt and rather quickly at that. Yeah. So actually, so another question that I had chambered, it's kind of funny to ask, just because you had answered it earlier unintentionally. But one of the things about teaching online is, you're mainly teaching ESL students, and I guess that's one thing I always wondered is about, what degree of English that they had already known going in. But then you're saying that, kids in China, they're 3 years old and they're already running their own D&D campaigns. So it's pretty fascinating to hear about that. But have you experienced, say, a classroom where their English wasn't all that great, and but conversely, you don't speak their language particularly well. So have you encountered instances where there was a lot of friction, and how you can overcome that?
Yeah. I mean, most of the time when I tell people I teach English, the first question they ask me, especially if I tell them I'm teaching English to kids in China, they'll ask me, oh, so you speak Chinese? And I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, how in the world are you teaching English to these students that, you know, they probably don't know much English? But I guess that's kind of a misconception. But as I was mentioning, they start really young. There are students that uh, they don't have a higher level of language in my teaching with them. So I use a lot of videos or pictures to support. A lot of the times they have their parents with them that know English, so they ask their parents a lot. Or I have two boys that like to use Siri and Alexa. Not Alexa, I guess Siri. They're like, "Oh, Siri, what's?" And then they'll translate something. If they're wondering a word or something. But But most of the time, they already know a good deal of language, and the classes that I teach are grouped by level, so they're pretty leveled pretty correctly based off the curriculum.
I have I really have like one other thing that I'm wondering about in regards to this, and then we'll make our way into the broad spectrum of work at home content that you talk about, which is really the meat of the matter for the day. One other thing I am wondering about is more of like the granular like managing classes, because I don't really know what the experience is like. I was neither a student, certainly not a teacher in any capacity when I've never really done like online classrooms at all. I did take one online course in college, and I'll tell you a brief story just because this is just really funny. Where usually when somebody gets a message in their inbox, there would be like a bracket with a little number and a bracket indicating how many messages are received from it. Not my interface. So I would check the inbox once in a while and says, no messages. Really? Huh. It's been almost like half a semester. And then like 1 month to go before, I'm supposed to graduate. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there are messages, and sure enough, there's like a whole array of messages. Like either your final thesis will be due next month. Your final thesis will be due in a week. Your final thesis is due tomorrow. So I'm like, great. Well, I got to message the teacher, but we didn't do like any in lectures. We didn't do anything to any degree that resembles a classroom setting. It was all just like, emailing one another, and I seemingly failed at that too. So I have like no experience with this whatsoever. But I'd love to hear about like what's it like to start up a class for the day, and lesson plans. Do you use presentations? Are there slides involved, and get how kids are engaged? How often do you have to mute people?
Yeah, I mean, so as we're talking about working from home, teaching English is probably like one of the easiest things if you are a fluent English speaker to start working from home. And if you can have a conversation, you can probably start doing this. But there are so many different companies and platforms and websites where you can get started with teaching English. So there's ones like the one that I'm working for is a company that provides curriculum. They do the scheduling for me. So I just have a list of my classes. They give me my curriculum for the day. My curriculum is PowerPoints, and they are already like uploaded in their own platform. So it's kind of like a Zoom platform, but they have their own for the company. But uh, if you don't want to work for a company, you really can use different websites that promote teaching English, where you can make a profile, you can put your rate that you would want to be paid, your schedule. So there's different options that you can do if you wanted to teach English versus using a company where they give you your pay, they give you your schedule, they give you your students. So there's kind of like pros and cons of each, but if you wanted to do on your own, you can make your own schedule, you can make, the time, I should say your salary that you're looking to get paid for. Like for my company, I'm kind of limited to the hours I could teach. So since I'm in the Pacific time zone in Las Vegas, the time zone in China where I teach from like 3 in the morning to 6 in the morning. So it's pretty crazy. I know some people would not do that, but if you wanted to do like different websites, you can, obviously choose your own hours, but be mindful of where the students that you're looking to teach, where they live. So you might not get as many bookings. So that's something to be aware of.
And how I know travel hasn't exactly been a big thing for too many people in the last year, but did it achieve what you were hoping for, which is to have more flexibility in being able to travel as you so choose?
Yeah, I mean, I know some companies, like I have a friend, she also teaches from home, but I know her company is kind of strict with her VPN, or I don't know the term, but they can see where she's located. So her company doesn't let her travel outside of the state. So she's limited to that. So my company really just lets you teach wherever in the world. They don't care where you are. So it is really flexible, which is nice. It's just making sure the time zones and stuff you're aware of, which is can be complicated sometimes.
So what we've done is we talked about online teaching, which is one of the options that you talk about on your YouTube channel, but it's not the only one. And I think one of the limiting factors about teaching is that it's highly schedule based. You have to be there for the students. So the overall mission of today's episode for my audience, and including a dear friend of mine who I wanted to ask some questions specifically for, is these options that we have to supplement our income. A lot of people, everybody can work from home. Not everybody gets the ability to do that. But I would imagine even if somebody is, say, working construction, working in grocery, hopefully there's options that are easy to get into that they, with any luck, they can slowly transition their way towards. So I'm going to read off a brief list. We're not going to define them right away because there's a preliminary question that I want to ask first. But some of the avenues that you talk about on your YouTube channel, so that, pay to read, drop servicing, writing, copywriting, transcription, which I suppose is a form of writing, the ESL companies, which we kind of got into already. There's even one I saw, copying and pasting ads. And I imagine I missed a few. So there's quite a few options over there. But before we get into all of that, how are you vetting these? And how are you, I guess, ensuring that what you're talking about is legit? And I suppose I haven't checked all your videos, but my guess is maybe you've also shown some content where, by the way, guys, just so you know, this is not actually legit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there are so many ways you can teach online. I think the ones that I make more videos about, I've tried to get into myself to see, if it's worthwhile and if it's something I could do to make money as well. And something I could try. I think with just like the whole journey working online, it can be very overwhelming. There's so many things that people are telling you to do, try this, try that. And yeah, like your question, like, where do you start? So I guess trying to see what interests you first, to see, oh, okay, I'm a decent writer. Let me try, doing, writing for blogs or something like that. Or I can type really fast. I can be a transcriptionist. So trying to see what skills that you're already good at to try to use that avenue to find jobs to work online. That's, I guess, how I started looking for ways to do more work from working online, is seeing what skills I can do.
And so aside from teaching, are you actively doing any of them even to this day?
Besides teaching, I guess there's a little bit more, like I also talk about freelancing on my YouTube channel. And with freelancing, you really could do so many different things. Say like you want to be a graphic designer, but you're not even sure where to start. You don't have background knowledge, or you don't have a degree, and you really don't have to nowadays. Like there's so many websites and templates you can use, and especially YouTube to help support you learning how to do certain things. So I have done a little bit of like freelancing stuff. I get emails sometimes. Oh, like you mentioned, I made a video about drop servicing. Basically, you're kind of outsourcing a service, and you get the money in the middle with someone doing the work. You charge more, and the person doing the service for you would be less. So you make that income in the middle. But I got an email recently being like, oh, can you help me start a drop servicing business? So I think kind of more consulting and, freelancing would be something that I'm gearing into, I guess, a little bit right now.
Right. Yeah. Like being knowledgeable on the subject, helping guide people into what would be a good fit for them. All right. So there's a couple of these that I wanted to run through in specific. And again, before I do that, I'm also curious is like over time, have you spotted any red flags? Because I will say some of these offers, or some of these even in concept, it can sound too good to be true. Like, for instance, even being paid to just, read content. I see that right away and I think, no way. No.
Right.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
It seems like that's just too crazy. But no, when I found this topic about where people I guess the topic sounds misleading, but basically with that, there are companies out there that are looking to get reviews on books, and they will pay you to actually like read books or read different literature to do this and write a review. And some companies, they'll pay like $50 for a review, you know, depending on the length of the text or how much experience. So the more experience you have, some companies are looking for, some are looking for more, uh, I guess, like school based knowledge. So if you have degrees, they'll pay you a little bit more. But yeah, there are companies out there to review different texts and books and they'll pay you. So basically, that's what it would be to get paid to read.
Okay, that checks out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then so a couple of other ones too that I think are interesting. So transcribing. Now, for me, I think transcribing, and I think of like if I turn CC on a YouTube video, which I always assumed were automatic, judging by some of the hilarious misunderstanding. It's like they hired Starbucks baristas to do the
Yeah.
transcribing. So I don't think that's exactly what it is. But what's in the transcribing space?
So that is something that I would say if you're brand new and you don't have much skills, you can type, you can, have basic conventional English skills. That would be something that I would suggest for people trying to get started in the work from home areas. That if you can type, you understand English, start with transcription, which is basically there are companies out there that have audio files. Like basically, for example, this podcast, you might want it in a text format. So someone would listen and type out everything we're saying and maybe send it to you in a PDF or Word document. And they would be paid for the length of the audio. So say this podcast was like an hour long, people are paid for that hour amount. So that's also misleading. So there's companies will say, "Oh, we'll pay you $20 an hour," which is not an actual hour, it's an audio hour. So some people might type quicker than others. So as a beginner, I know it's harder to, you're learning how to type it, what formats people want. So maybe an audio hour might take you 2 to 3 hours to transcribe. So think about that's $20 you're getting paid, but you might do 3 hours of work for it. So I know that can deter people being like, well, that's not much money per hour, but it's a really simple concept where there's not really any barriers to get started with. And as you get better with it, type quicker, the formats, people are making full-time incomes with that.
Right. Okay. So then there was another one. Well, I mean, this one is like just generalized writing and copywriting. So there's lots of different places that people can write for. Writing reviews for books. Again, transcribing, technically writing, but I guess it doesn't fall into the realm of creative input because they're just. I mean, it's not like somebody has like their personal take on what's said. It's you write what's said, my friend. So with writing, to me, I've been writing my whole life, but mostly just for my own sake, and I'm lucky to be able to use some of my writing skill with the work that I do here with the company. But if I'm being honest, it was kind of a fluke. I didn't think there was going to be any writing involved. It just so happened that there was. So with getting into writing from a more creative bend. I know affiliate marketing is an element to this. I wanted to save that afterwards because we're going to do like a whole chunk on affiliate marketing. But aside from that, are there other entry ways that people can start copywriting or start doing writing with a little bit more, I guess, creative input?
Yeah, I know some people, if they are writers, they prefer to write on a certain topic or a genre. But especially nowadays with people having websites or people having blogs, people are looking for content to be pushed out there. So people are looking for writers to be written on like a blog topic. Maybe they're writing about health or business or cars, whatever their topic is of their blog or their website. With copywriting, you're basically doing the same thing, but like writing with more SEO involved in your writing and more like as a website, if you're selling something, you're trying to persuade people to buy different things. So copywriting could also be like writing descriptions on your Amazon products or writing descriptions of products that you sell on your e-commerce website. So a lot of people are looking for different types of writers that would fit their needs. So maybe you really enjoy a certain topic and you feel passionate about it. It's obviously going to come easier to write about. So there are different websites that are looking for specific topics of writers. So that would be a good avenue if you're passionate about something to look for a specific topic. Uh, Though there is more demand for copywriting more and more because, there's so many e-commerce websites. Even with social media, people are looking for people to write their social media posts because they're not sure what to put in it. So even if you're really good at social media, you could also get into that and sell your services to, write people Instagram's posts or Facebook ads. So there's different avenues you could do too.
Mm-hmm. What would be an example of a company where I could look for where to start on this? Is it like one company that is assigning work to different websites, or is it like a website by website basis?
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think. Like there's so many like needs and jobs out there, but I wouldn't say there's not really exactly like companies, but there's more freelancing. You could find them. So different websites like upwork.com or even there's, I had 3 websites that is like a remote website base. And they also just post like remote jobs, like social media marketing, or like there's like remote jobs co and remote coffee. Like there's different remote websites that just post jobs that they're looking for that would have like copywriting jobs or, transcribing social media jobs. So I guess to find more of those would be to look on job board websites, or even right now is really popular is using LinkedIn to reach out to different companies and people and promote your services that way, which is really helpful.
And also, just to remind my audience, as always, what we get done in an hour is nothing compared to what somebody can get done when they have a whole day. So we're going to make sure that our audience is directed to your content on YouTube as well, where they'll be able to sink their teeth into these a little bit more. For now, I'm just kind of like rifling off a lot of these just so that our audience has an understanding of like, what there is out there. So the last one that I had on my list, and then I'll ask you if there's any other ones that stick out in your mind you want to let us know about, is so it's like copying and pasting ads or it's like, my guess is like it's more like ad transcribing or ad transferring. So the idea of copying and pasting ads, I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, in the same way that pay to read is more like book reviews. So what's the situation there?
I guess with that, it's kind of like, it's a little bit more with like affiliate marketing. Like basically you can get paid if you have a blog or a website, and if you scroll down usually to the bottom or as you're reading, there's different ads to click on and you can put them in your website, your blog, and you get paid if people click on it. So that would kind of be something similar where you could promote these different products or ads in your website, your blogs, and you would get paid for people clicking on them. So if you do have like an online presence, it would be something you can create more income if you wanted to put these ads in your websites or your blogs, or even you can kind of make, promote it in your social media if that's kind of your area that you're talking about. So I guess that's kind of copy pasting
Sure.
a little bit.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think the thing with that though is that I'm not saying it's prohibitive, but because somebody has to have a prior web presence, a lot of, I think, its efficacy is based on what is already pre-established. So, it's not as entry level, but it is still an important component in helping people move their website, up the ranks and increase traffic. So, and of course, increase revenue. So this next one that is the one that I said I was asked specifically for a friend of mine, and I ain't calling him out by name. Once I describe why, y'all will understand. But life has drop kicked him a couple of times, and he has a couple of issues that make it difficult, A, to get out of his chair, and B, to be able to have a consistent work schedule, because he does get hit by illnesses once in a while, and they can be pretty debilitating. So there are a lot of things that are not going in his favor, and I'm sure he's not alone. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are in the same situation who. Here's the problem: is that everybody wants. I think this is my personal philosophy, but I think everybody wants to work. We all want to decide what kind of work we want to do, and we would prefer to do the work that makes us that makes us happy, that we have a passion for, because we just have more inherent energy to be motivated to do that. But one of the issues is actually if somebody qualifies and they're on disability, then the Fed will actually dock their pay. So there's this threshold that people have to cross in order for it to be worth it for them to do the labor. Because if they earn $200, they get deducted $100, which means that they've actually just earned $100.
Right.
So I'm getting a little political because that's me. So I don't want to get too far into that, but I bring it up because it actually is a significant factor in people's ability to find consistent work. So there's an issue there. But what I would like to know, for the sake of my friend, and I think anybody who knows somebody like this, is what are the ideal options? Transcribing is already in them, but I just wanted to hear anything else. Is A, I can't commit to a schedule, and B, I may not be able to commit to a deadline too. It's a kind of a tall order, but even if there's one answer to the question, I think that's going to help a lot of people out.
Yeah, I mean, for something like that, I would suggest looking at the skills that you already have and the areas that you would feel comfortable working in. So whether it be reading, whether it be typing, if you feel comfortable with English, really there's a lot of opportunity, because even if you know a second language and you can do translation, if say you don't feel like typing but you could still read, there are opportunities to even become a voiceover artist. So, or even to read audiobooks, there are options where you can get paid to do that as well. So if you can, have a concept of English, there's different avenues you could take. So maybe you, for deadlines and stuff, reading an audiobook, they give you a deadline, but it would give you it should give you a decent amount of time to do. So that would be a suggestion if you're looking to get started to do that. I know some people don't like typing, and that could be an option if you enjoy reading. Especially if there's a genre you enjoy reading about, you can be a voiceover artist to read different audiobooks and get paid to do that. Or maybe you do enjoy typing, so you could do typing for different companies or blogs. Or some people are big with social media, so you can become a social media manager and manage different social media outlets. I know I've also been looking into doing different, I guess, creative work. So if you enjoy designing things, or you enjoy I guess being creative and want to help companies and stuff, you can, design things and become a freelancer. So there's different websites like Fiverr.com or Upwork.com, and you can promote your services with designing different things. You could take a look at the website itself and see what services they offer. So I would suggest kind of looking at those websites and see what services people are doing, and seeing if that would be something you'd be interested in looking at to do. Those might have deadlines though, because you're doing a service space for someone, but it's an option. But they usually give a decent amount of time. But also, if you don't want to do services or doing, deadlines, you can try to go the business route and start selling things on Etsy, or having your own social media and selling things that way. Or even with Etsy, you can start doing print on demand. So I've dabbled into that a little bit, but some things are easier than others. But with print on demand, you really don't have to there's no product that you have to buy up front. So you would design a product, the company would actually have the product itself, the website, and they ship it to your customer. So that's kind of a low barrier entry type business model if people are looking to do business, but they don't have a lot of money up front. You could do print on demand. Drop shipping is a little bit similar. Um, in the past, I have a twin sister. My sister and we started an online clothing store in the past. So we've tried e-commerce. This was like in 2015. So I think this was a little bit before there were more support things to do. But we had it for maybe 6 months and we didn't continue. But as an online entrepreneur and someone to work from home, you kind of just have to, there's a lot of trial and error and see what works for you and see what things that you enjoy doing.
So what happened with the print on demand?
I think I just got more like, as when you work from home and you're trying different things, you kind of see like how much time something takes. So I mean, it was going, but it just ended up taking too much of my time to really continue with the other stuff I was trying to do. But another area that I'm trying, and I know some people might be interested in, is to sell ebooks on Amazon Kindle publishing. So that's also something that's becoming kind of popular right now, is where you can write your own ebook, but you don't really have to nowadays. You can go on these freelancing websites, find a writer to write for you, or you don't even have to have a book that is writing. Like, people are selling coloring books, people are selling journals. So you can design your own journals to sell online, and people are making a lot of money that way as well.
There's quite a few options.
Yeah.
I'll be glad there's a lot that I can pass on to my friend. Although you wouldn't know this, but doing voiceovers is probably not in his wheelhouse because he constantly sounds like he's out of breath. But I think the other ones will
Yeah.
take for him. Okay, so I got you for about another 15 minutes. So we still got to make some time for your experience in affiliate. Before we do that, I have kind of like a speculative question for you. I think this would be fun to ask. Is like, what would you like to see, I guess, evolve in the online working space or in the remote working space? Or are there any trends that you've identified that are seeds now that might come to fruition in maybe 5 or 10 years?
I mean, things change so quickly. Like, I guess I first started trying to work online maybe like 4 years ago. And I guess the more trendy thing I've been seeing is a lot more with like social media, especially nowadays with like TikTok, and how people are, monetizing their profiles on TikTok and doing affiliate marketing with TikTok and different social media outlets, or becoming influencers. So there's so much more with social media today than it was in the past, where you can make a business all around it. Which I think is nice. So if, you can make, be your own person and still try to make your own career and money from that way too. But I mean, I think also this time period where more things have gone online, where you can start working your jobs online and being able to have that flexibility. So hopefully more companies, employers make it more available to people.
Oh, okay. So here's actually one other side to this that I think is important to ask too, is like the claiming income or and registering all of this just so that the feds are happy. So generally speaking, when people sign up for these, they're usually working for a company, I imagine, for the most part. So the income is claimed that way. Have you run into any issues in terms of like how the income is tracked?
Yeah, I mean, with teaching English to children in China, my company's based in China, so they have nothing to do with my taxes. So I have to save a portion of my income per month to be able to pay my taxes. So, and that goes for a lot of these online type of things that aren't companies that you're working for. So if you're making money with Amazon, if you're making money with Etsy, if you're freelancing, you do need to save a certain percentage of the income that you're making to pay your taxes. So that could be a little bit tricky, but make sure you read up on it, ask your accountant, make sure you're knowledgeable.
I can back you up on that. I do that too. I have to take a chunk of my money out of my pay and just leave it in my bank for tax season. So yeah, so I totally back you up on that one. All right. So last thing I wanted to talk about today was affiliate marketing. Something that we touched on here or there, not only on today's episode but also on the show in general, and it's something that I find is personally exciting. So what I'm going to tell you is like my strategy for it. And full disclosure, I haven't implemented it yet because I'm taking my time. But I would like to hear, what's your strategy or strategies that you've seen that have been effective. So with what I'm doing is I'm setting up a store and my principal product is being drop shipped. But there's more products that I'm enthusiastic about than I have the wherewithal to sell. Because while it doesn't cost me anything to drop ship them, it does cost a great deal to market them, if I want to do any additional branding, like say inserts or special packaging. So there can be a lot of capital put into what was otherwise a lean business model. So my idea was, well, I've got a blog, so I might as well just write about other products that I'm enthusiastic about, so long as they tie into the brand and the overall mission that I'm on and the ideas that I'm trying to convey. So that's been my take on it, but I'd love to hear what's been your take on affiliate marketing. How's it worked for you and maybe some of the people that have come to you for help?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like the biggest kind of like question when you looking to get started with affiliate marketing is how you really can get started. And I think what a lot of people don't tell you is that it's definitely easier if you already have a presence online, but it's not something that you can't do if you don't have an online presence, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. Um, but and I think also with like affiliate marketing, like you said, running ads can get expensive. And I know a lot of people tell you that would be one way to, market and promote your things that you're trying to sell. But there are some like free ways that you can do. Like Pinterest is probably one of the best free ways to get started, since Pinterest is a free like social media type website. You can talk about your product, and like a viral pin on Pinterest can become viral super quickly, where people can click it and actually buy it. So I would say Pinterest is pretty good to get started with if you don't have a lot of money to start running ads. Also, another good place if you want to get started like promoting products would be looking for different blogs or different websites, or even what's that one website? Uh, like Reddit and stuff like that, where there people are like commenting about certain topics, where you can, if you have experience with a product, you can, kind of give a testimonial and talk about the pros and cons of why this might help solve a problem. So looking for areas that you're trying to help and support people online, or even like Facebook groups, social media groups. Don't go around spamming your link everywhere, but if you're trying to really genuinely help people and support people that are looking for help, you can be that source of reason where people might come to you to, look for the products that you're using.
And you said that you had seen people do this on TikTok as well, which to
Yes.
me is, you only have like a window of like what, 15 seconds, 60 seconds in order to promote a product. So it's interesting to see how that might be condensed. What could be like a 10-minute read, 15-minute read condensed into less than a minute.
Yeah. With TikTok, I find pretty interesting. Like you said, the videos are super short. So, you would have the topic area that you make your TikTok profile about. But what a lot of people are doing with it is they have one link in your profile bio. And with that link, you can use a website to kind of branch off to your other links that you have, like a link tree, or like a sales funnel, where you're, directing people to other places, to your offers or to your email list. And that's how people are collecting like emails, by putting like their links in their bios to collect those leads, and you can promote your products for like affiliate marketing that way as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues for it. I guess one thing. So it's talking about Pinterest, that's important too. I think if somebody is setting up, like me, for instance, I've got my own storefront and I don't have much of a presence yet. I'm imagining that's the kind of like the same thing that I would want to do too, is actually use something like Pinterest
Yes.
to market some of the products that I want to work on. So one thing that I'm thinking for my strategy is, I have the affiliate link on, say, like a blog post. So if I connect it to Pinterest, what I'm probably going to do there is I'm just going to have the affiliate link on the Pinterest instead. They might not make it to the blog, but that's
Right.
okay. As long as I still have the link, it's all good.
I know that's what some people are telling people to do that, but I wouldn't really suggest doing it that way. Sometimes Pinterest won't allow you to put those links and they won't accept your pin. So another way to do that would to be having like, man, I'm drawing a blank on the word, but basically like to have like a website buffer where like a link tree, or put it in like a sales funnel. I personally use Kartra, but there's different sales funnel builders where you can have a web page to collect leads, and then people put in your email, then you could direct them to another website with your offer, like your product, for instance. So it's kind of like weeding the serious people out instead of having just all these people click your link and nothing happens. But if you put it in like a sales funnel type thing, oh, I'm giving away this free ebook, click on my link, I'll collect your email, and then you direct them, to your offer, to your ebook, to collect those serious people that would actually potentially buy your product.
Okay. One other thing that I'm wondering about with affiliate is, well, actually two things. But one is a speculation question, but the other one is, when as I'm looking around, my workspace, which is also where I live, which is also where I sleep, I'm thinking there are things that I could write about, but it's like the product first, and then hopefully there's an affiliate link for it. So when it comes to looking for the links themselves, what platforms are you going to figure out, what I can actually promote and write about? And have you seen, say, like an option where I could actually choose what to write about and then set an affiliate link up on my own, maybe independently of the product?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Nowadays there's so many different affiliate programs. Like you could really type in such and such company affiliate and see if there's affiliate program for a store that you like, or maybe you're into fishing or hiking, and you can, type that into Google, like hiking affiliate products or fishing affiliate products. And sometimes you'll get a list of companies that do have products that you can promote. Or like, say for me, I'm in, like the work from home type niche. So the companies and websites that I use, like Fiverr, Upwork, or Etsy, those types of websites, sometimes they have affiliate programs too. So if I talk about them in my YouTube videos, they could also have affiliate, signups too. So I guess kind of see what things that you actually already use today, if they already have affiliate programs. And if you are interested in certain products or like a certain topic, you can, see what websites you normally go to and see if they have affiliate programs, or even into a quick Google search usually helps finding products. They're kind of like marketplace websites to find affiliate products, like clickbank.com, or there's another one, digistore.com is another one that has actual products or digital downloads. That's kind of like a marketplace you could search to see what products you can promote. So there's different avenues you can look into.
Yeah, one thing I would think too is if I'm, say, writing about a specific product and I try to find affiliate links for it and there aren't any, I would say, well, I'm not going to promote this then. I'm just going to just try to drop ship this myself. I would, if I'm putting the effort in promoting it and I can't direct it to somebody else, I might as well just give it a shot myself.
Another way to think, like if are you talking about a specific topic like
Well, for
shoes or
me, like,
something?
well, I'm like you. I'm in the in the remote working niche. I mean, I've been working remotely for 10 years. And, once lockdowns are up, I'm going to go back to making excuses not to leave my house as opposed to not leaving my house. So like for me, one product that I actually really like that I'm hesitant about drop shipping because it's rather saturated are wall hooks. I have I don't have an exact number, but there's probably about like 15 or 16 wall hooks throughout different parts of my apartment because they're exceedingly useful. So I like talking about them and I like the idea of showing different creative uses for them. But drop shipping something that's available in a home hardware or even like a Staples to me seems like I'm swimming up current. So I would have an easier time talking about that affiliate marketing, but I'm also not sure if it's too low cost of a product that there's really like an affiliate program for it.
No, I mean, a different way, I guess, to like look at it in a different perspective would be if you have that product like wall hooks, would be like, what stores sell wall hooks? And then you could go and see, oh, that store sells wall hooks. Do they have an affiliate program?
Right.
And then kind of like, oh, talk about the wall hooks. And then here are some websites that might sell them. And then you could put your affiliate link that way.
Oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That clears that one up for me. All right, so Ashlie, we're almost at an hour. I got to say, this has just been fantastic in terms of knowledge. There's a lot of really great options here for a lot of people to consider. Because I always want to encourage people to get into entrepreneurship, but for a lot of people, it's not so easy to even have the money to do drop shipping. The somewhat agreed upon capital to drop ship is about $1,000, which not everybody has at hand. So people need income first, and there's ways to do that. And you never know. Some people might actually find a career just doing this. So I did want to circle back to just talking about the education sector, because whenever I talk to educators, I'm always curious about what you would like to see in the online learning space. Same question that I asked you earlier about remote working in general. But from your perspective, is there anything that you feel what you like about teaching remotely? Is there anything that you feel you'd like to see change about it, or any trends you see coming?
I guess for me, when I started looking for options to teach online, is that as someone in America, as an American teacher, we're kind of limited to be able to teach in our certain states. So that actually makes it really difficult. For instance, I live in Nevada, so there's not many online schools in Nevada. So I really can't, I'm kind of limited to what schools I could teach for. So for instance, like if you live in California, there's a lot more options of online schools. So that's how I went to teaching on English online, because I was limited to what schools I could really teach for. So, which would be nice if you were an educator would be like, to have like schools or options where anyone could teach with a bachelor's degree or a certification, regardless of like where your location is. And that is kind of something that's not the best with some English companies. Like some, they look at where you were born. So if you were not born in a country that's not an English speaking country, they might not accept you. So that's something that kind of is kind of a damper on that, teaching online in general, is that there's kind of like limitations. So hopefully in the future, things will be more open to people and not limitations, and, people can show their skills rather than, qualifications instead.
Yeah, like I don't know. I guess I can see if there are, say, certain value systems or certain cultural norms that a person should have in order to better convey the lessons to that culture. So I can kind of see the logic there, but I would say at least up until high school, the curriculums are more or less, teach kids to do math and read in English. So like that's one barrier I couldn't make a case to put up. But I would be curious in finding out more about like, what are the reasons for it. It almost sounds like it's just a matter of, them not really being up to speed with the times.
Oh no, that's for sure. I feel like that is education today's like it's not really updated from, when we were in school in the past. Like people are still learning similar things, but um or, we're not learning, valuable things that will help us in our daily life, like finances or, how to get insurance or, specific daily needs. So that would be nice, if we can put that in our
Mhm.
education.
I didn't even understand what a bank does until I was 25 years old. It's to me it's hilarious looking back on it. But prior to that, I legitimately thought the only reason why people have savings accounts is because they don't want to store all the money under their bed.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know what income was. And then, by the way, and that's just one component of it. It wasn't until I started talking to people in the e-commerce space that I really started to get a grasp on the nuances of it. Having a savings account ain't enough. There's also inflation. So if the interest is less than the inflation, then you actually lose money over time.
Right.
So there's a story that I just listened to on a different podcast where they tried something like this in Japan. So everybody in Japan went and bought safes to hide all their money in it because they didn't want their cash to deflate. So I mean, not only is important for it to be up to date, but to be aware of how things are constantly changing as well. So yeah, I mean, the big thing I like to see, and then I'll leave us on that note. I'd like to see a little bit more of an understanding that not everybody is going to make it through the system on their first run. I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, shame or guilt if somebody, say, is held back a grade or something like that. And I think some people, they might learn at a little bit of a slower pace, or they might even want to take breaks. So while there's a previous episode that was very illuminating with Amy Hunt, who's also in the education space. So our audience, if you haven't checked that one out, you'll see kind of like where my thought process has evolved. But that structure early on is critical for children to develop and to understand how to make their way in a complicated world. But if, say, me, for instance, I still count with my fingers. So for me, mathematics might be something I need to study like over the course of my life to be proficient in. And so when I was in school, I was just like surviving math rather than really learning it or letting it sink in. And like I said, I'm still counting with my fingers.
We all do. So do I.
Okay. Okay. That's a relief.
Yeah, totally. And I think also just evolving as like people is, trying to perfect our skills and get better with it. Like for me, I still take online courses, to learn more things of how I can, be better. Like if someone is interested in doing like graphic design or, copywriting, there are different courses you could take and get better so you can do those online jobs too as well. There's, different websites like Skillshare or Udemy. They have different courses that you could take and learn and try to get into that avenue instead of doing that traditional route as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've had the luxury of talking to a few people in that space too. The upside / downside is the institution itself is a social setting, and you get an opportunity to bond with people in a unique way. But you also make enemies too. So the ability to choose those other routes too, I think is massively important. So I'd love to see them have as much legitimacy as they can get their hands on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's everything I've got for today. I guess just to make sure that I didn't like leave a stone unturned, were there any other online work avenues that maybe we skipped over that you'd like to let us know about? Because if not, otherwise I can get you on Addie.
I guess I just want to leave on a note is where I know there's different like online careers that people can do, but it might seem a little bit scary or need like a certification. Like for instance, like designing websites or kind of like coding websites. I think the term might sound a little bit scary and people might think, oh, I don't have that, degree to be able to do that. Like if there's different types of careers online, usually there's different avenues or different websites or different like cheaper courses you could take to learn those skills to be able to do it. So I just would like to say, basically, if there is something that someone's interested in doing online and it might seem scary, just do a little bit more research, and usually there's different avenues you could take to be able to do it.
I that makes sense. I think the idea that it comes across as intimidating is probably helpful. So at least that way I know that like there as many people as are interested in it. Not everybody is committing to it. So I think a small element of that does help to, mitigate all the people who are going to maybe like bring the industry down if they're not fully committed to it. So yeah, it can be helpful, but I agree. You do have to get over that fear.
Well, and I think people like the misconception is like, oh, I don't have this 4-year degree to learn how to code, or but there's different like templates and stuff where you actually still can design websites without knowing how to code. So there's different avenues to be able to do something, even though you might not have the education that you think you need.
I agree with that as well. And with that, so we're going to close this out. Once again, I really appreciate your time. I learned a lot today, and I'm looking forward to passing this episode along to those in need. And so, for the wrap up question is also, lots of podcasts are going to do this. Is if there's like a Chinese proverb you really like, feel free to share it, words of wisdom, stuff like that. And then let the audience know how they can find out more about what you're up to.
So I wish I knew some Chinese proverbs, but I mean, most of my students are like, 7, 8, 9, or 10. So, and our classes are like English only. So they try not to tell me Chinese stuff. But so if you are interested in learning more about working from home and seeing these resources you can find, you can check me out on YouTube. My YouTube is Ashlie Tess, but with Ashlie with the IE at the end. So make sure you don't put an EY, you won't find me. And that's what my YouTube is. So check me out there.
And to our audience, as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to collect and provide this information to all of you. So thank you all for engaging and go check out Ashley's content. It's going to help you out quite a bit. I see myself going back there myself just to. I mean, me, I'm doing all right, but there's a lot of people that I want to help out too. So it's good to know that the resource is out there.
Good.
Awesome. All right. And with that, take care, and we will check in soon.
Because we're not that complicated in terms of what we offer you. We offer you back in stock notifications.
Hey, this is Joseph from Ecomonics. Just wanted to thank you for being here and for giving this content your time and attention. I hope you learned something. I can say with certainty, I have learned something with every episode that I have done, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. There's a couple things you can do to help us out. If you want to check out the audio content, we are available on all major podcast platform distributors. And while you're there, give us a 5-star review. It helps a lot. And while you're here on YouTube, there's a lot of things you can do to help out as well. It's not going to take very long. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for this episode, and hit the notification bell so when we have new content for you, it's going to be at your doorstep ASAP. Lastly, this podcast is created by Debutify, the best Shopify template available. It is 100% free for you to start, and it can change your life. It can make you so much more free than you are right now. So if this episode wasn't enough to convince you, I think a few more might do the trick. So have at it.